Confidence is a choice and not a character trait that you are born with. And this is the first belief system you need to change in order to become more confident. In this episode, I will give you 10 points that you can start implementing immediately in your life to gain more trust in yourself and to go through life with a lot less friction and a lot less fear. Hi Growth Nation, my name is Mandy and welcome to episode number 7 of the MLG podcast. This episode is all about building confidence. I will give you pointers and mindset changes that you can start to implement immediately to help you gain more confidence. And to be honest, I went down this rabbit hole while I was preparing for this episode because there are just so many things that you can actually do. So I was like, you can do this and you can do that. So I'm just telling you this because there are so many options and so many things that you can do. However, I have narrowed it down to the 10 most important things, the ones that I feel are most effective and the easiest ones to implement right away. So let's get going. Now, in the intro, I said that confidence is something that we build. It's not something that we're born with. And this is really important, and that's the first thing that you need to know and implement and really believe. If you don't, you'll still get to confidence if you follow the other points, but it's just going to take a lot longer. And here we are all about getting you there really fast because you and I want to empower ourselves so that we can make the world a better place. Point number 2, start small. Don't try to go from 0 to hero. If you set your target too high, then you may not make it and then you will be discouraged and you'll become even less confident. We sometimes feel so inspired and fired up that we set these unrealistic goals, or we think, I got this law of attraction thing down, so tomorrow morning when I wake up, I will weigh 20 kgs less, or I will be able to run a marathon that I haven't practiced for. Although, of course, I don't want to discourage you from setting crazy goals, if you don't start with the right knowledge or evidence of what it takes to achieve it, you'll have the wrong expectations and end up really disappointed. Instead, set your goal that you're going to walk 10 minutes every day or every second day, or that you're going to have 1 piece of chocolate less. And start with these tiny wins every day or every week, just so that you can build up a portfolio of success. And at this point, I also want to mention that it is really important to manage the expectation of the speed of your growth. Okay, so for example, let's take my YouTube channel. If I launch my first video and I have the expectation that in a week's time I'll have 1 million views, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm sure there are people. You see, I'm drooling when I hear 1 million subscribers. I'm sure there are a lot of people who have accomplished it, or not a lot, but that there are people who have accomplished it. However, if I set myself up with that expectation and I don't reach it, I will be so discouraged that I'll stop and I'll end up with nothing. Aww. If you do end up growing really fast, then that's awesome. But if you don't, at least you won't stop. You will have the patience to keep going and know that you are building it on a solid foundation. Point number 3. Be willing to be a beginner, aka be willing to potentially make an idiot of yourself with your inner eye on the long-term goal. So this means from the outside it might not look very elegant, and you don't want to focus on that. For that moment, although it's hard, it's not about what you look like and what others think about you, but it's about you going through the process and keeping your eye on the prize the whole time. Just to give you an example of this, I used to be part of a networking organization, and what that entailed was that every week the group got together and then every person or every business owner had 1 minute to pitch their business to the other business owners. And in the beginning, I was terrified of this because I wasn't used to speaking in front of people. I'd never done it before. But what I was very clear about from the beginning is that I didn't want to read my 1 minute presentation off a piece of paper, because I just felt that that wouldn't feel the same, it wouldn't have the authenticity, and I wouldn't be able to connect with people in the way that I want to. So I set myself the goal that I'm going to talk freely from the beginning, because I didn't want to build the habit of reading and creating that comfort zone. So the others around me didn't know that this was my plan. So the first few rounds that I did felt horrible to me. I don't know how it was, but to me it felt really horrible, and I stumbled a little bit. But I kept thinking about my long-term goal, that I want to practice being able to speak in front of people without having a piece of paper as my safety net. Okay, so I was willing to make an idiot of myself in the beginning. I kept my goal in mind, and at the end it became really easy for me to talk freely in front of people without too much preparation. So the definition of confidence in the Oxford Dictionary, one of my favorite books, is the belief in yourself, okay? A belief in your own ability to do things and be successful. And feeling certain, the feeling that you are certain about something. And exactly this brings me to point number 4. Where we go wrong is that we think certainty means that we have a guarantee that everything will go according to plan, or that we will be able to do everything perfectly every time. Well, my friend, you can never consider all the variables of a situation, and therefore if you set yourself up thinking like that, then you set yourself up for big disappointment. One thing you can be certain about, however, is the mindset that you will be okay. You can be certain that you'll be okay no matter what happens. Okay, so your mindset is, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try my best, I'll probably make it, but if I don't, I'll be okay, and I'll just deal with whatever is in front of me at that moment. Which brings me to point number 5, and that is change your perspective around failure. In fact, scratch the word failure out of your vocabulary and replace it with feedback. Don't mentally roll away from mishaps. Sit with them and do a post-mortem. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? Where do I still need to grow? What needs to change? And do that over and over and over again. I have been in contact with many managers and business owners, and without fail, they all say a person with the wrong skills but the right attitude beats the person with the right skills and the wrong attitude every single time. Now, what is the right attitude? It's a willingness to grow, to learn, to ask questions, to say sorry, to evaluate and learn from that, and to put in the work every single day. In the words of Lee Cockerell, not sure. Anyway, in the words of that very wise man, do your best and then forgive yourself, and do that every single day. Now, I have a very important bonus point for you at this point. You see how I sneaked in a point 11 because I couldn't narrow it down completely to 10. Be very honest with yourself and take full responsibility for who you are and where you are now. Stop being a victim. Life is unfair. People are unfair. So what? Focus on what you want and keep moving in that direction. Water in a stream doesn't stop flowing when someone throws a rock in it. It finds a way around it. The less you allow yourself to be blocked by people and events in your life, the more invincible you will become. This is super important. Expect nothing from anyone else and just focus on what you are going to do to make it happen. Number 6. Stop talking and start doing. We love to talk about ourselves, and we love to talk about all the fancy plans that we have. And the reason we love doing that is because we get a nice little hit of dopamine when we do that, especially if the response from the other person is positive. So if you get your joy from talking about it, then you will be less motivated and you will crave that feeling of accomplishment less. Okay, so don't set yourself up for failure here. Derive your dopamine from your own growth and from achieving your goal, and not from talking about it. Number 7, and this one is super, super important. Okay, I know I said that about the other points as well. But if you're only going to do one point, do this one. And that is to keep your word to others and to yourself. AKA, promise less and finish more. We make promises so easily and we're very comfortable in not keeping them. And I'm talking about trivial things like promising a friend that you'll call them this evening and then you don't. Or promising yourself that you'll get up 5 minutes earlier tomorrow morning and you don't. Every time you don't keep a promise, either to others or to yourself, you lose trust in yourself. And that is detrimental to your confidence. You don't want to chip away from your confidence and trust in yourself. You want to build it step by step. And that's why, again, I remind you of point number 2, start small. Make promises that you know you can keep. Number 8, move out of your comfort zone deliberately. Okay, and I know this is uncomfortable because we want to stay where it's cushy and what we know. But if you only build confidence in the areas where you feel comfortable, for example, a skill that you've mastered or a social setting, then your confidence will be very fragile and it will start to crumble as soon as you are in a situation which you will inevitably be that is outside of that comfort zone. You don't have to be a master in everything, but I guarantee you have way more skills than you know of right now. And you don't know them because you've never put yourself in a space outside of your comfort zone where you could see that actually there's so much more to you. So deliberately putting yourself outside of your comfort zone in new situations will teach you new skills. As you learn more skills, you will become more confident. If you're more confident, you'll in turn want to tackle new things again because you know that you can. You've got this portfolio of success that you are able to learn new skills. And then in turn, again, you'll become more confident. So it becomes this upward spiral. Stop taking yourself and life too seriously. Confidence comes from being curious and the willingness to explore. So please never ever be done. Never ever arrive at an end destination. Number 9. Forget about those who reject you and focus on those who accept you. The more you focus on those who reject you, the further away you move from confidence and from self-acceptance, and you will probably become lonely because you feel that you won't have a place. But if you focus on those who accept you, you will build more confidence, obviously, but you will also be able to build a tribe and a support system that will help you to go from strength to strength. Disclaimer, don't reject the people who reject you. Let them go in peace, let them do their own thing. Okay, there are 7 billion people on this earth. Not everyone has to be the same. In fact, it would be an extremely boring world if we would all accept and love the same things. Be yourself with the knowledge that you are pure damn magic. Okay? If you go and look at YouTubers or celebrities, the more real they are, the deeper the bond is that we have with them. They all have their little ways and their little quirks, and that's what makes us attached to them. Okay? So the more comfortable you are with yourself, the easier you make it for others to accept you and love you. We have arrived at number 10. Become clear of what confidence even means to you. Okay, if you don't know what that means for you, you won't know where to start. So start with, What would you look like? What would you wear if you were really confident? What would you say? How would you show up in the world? How would you interact with other people? How would you face your disappointments? How would you face your fears? How would you be in social environments? Create a really clear picture of what the ultimate confident version of you would look like. And once you have that clear picture, you know what steps to take to get there. And the really cool thing is you can mentally go to that version of yourself and ask them for advice in situations that you are facing right now. These are 10 tried and tested ways to gain more confidence, and mastery comes through consistency and large amounts of repetition. Consistency and repetition require you to start, so start right now. Confidence allows us to go through life with a lot more mental freedom and a lot less fear. It increases the quality of our mental health and also the quality and quantity of our outside accomplishments. I promise it is possible if you just start. So pick one thing that you're going to do right now, today, start the process and watch yourself grow. That's it from me for today. Stay tuned for the bloopers. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. And most important of all, always remember to live an empowered life. Catch you in the next one. And focus. In the intro, we'll give you 10 ways that you can... We off. You won't be... I feel like I'm talking like a very upper class person. That didn't sound upper class. It's going so well. Like you're not... No... Confidence in the Oxford Dictionary up for severe disappointment. I don't know why my voice went up. Now I have to do that again. Except say it. Say it. Number 7. Any math tutors out there? And that is people who reject the... I reject that sentence. Confidence allows us to Mastery comes through... I almost said constipation. Consistency.